Hello, welcome to my channel. I am at Lake Nokomis. It's a pretty cool lake here in Minneapolis with my new Salsa Fargo. This thing's pretty sweet. Just got it yesterday. Um, the red pedals will not be the normal thing. I just threw them on there. These are the pedals that actually came off of my Esker Hayduk tie. But just got this yesterday and did kind of my first initial ride to here, and I'll talk about that in a second, but let's just talk about the components. It's got SRAM Apex. It's kind of the basic entry level to like the better stuff, and then Truvative Stylo crank. It's got a steel chainring on there. Wolf Tooth makes aluminum ones. I believe this is just a Boost 3mm offset, so I'll probably order one of those so I can just take off a little weight right there. But otherwise, it's a dub crank, you know. Pretty cool. It's got Spire. Is that how they say it? Yeah. TRP brakes. See if I can get that pedal back on the rock to balance it. All right. Carbon fork, triple butted 4130 chromoly frame. So this is not a gravel bike. This is what they call a drop bar mountain bike. So why is that? Well, because it's got more of a mountain bike geometry. Think classic XC mountain bike geometry, not a modern mountain bike geometry, with a drop bar on it versus a gravel bike. So this is a 69-degree head angle, I believe a 74-degree seat angle. It's a little bit shorter cockpit than like modern mountain bikes for a size small. I generally have a 23-inch effective top tube or a reach of 410 or somewhere around that, and I think this reach is, I'll have to look it up, but it's in the upper threes, so a little bit shorter than a modern like hardtail mountain bike like my Esker. 70mm stem. I love these bars. They're Salsa cow chippers. These are the bars that I put on my state all-road. Speaking of my state all-road, I've talked about how that bike rides pretty extensively. So how does this bike ride? Well, it's very different, believe it or not. It's for a 29er. I mean, it's got a 69-degree head angle. It's still pretty quick. Like a lot of people, I mean, I guess if you're riding a road bike and you're used to that, and, you know, road bikes have, you know, usually 72-degree head angles or something. So they're pretty quick handling. I also believe they sometimes have a little tighter rear end, depending on what the road bike's for. There's time trial bikes, there's touring bikes, there's, you know, like regular race bikes like they would do at the Tour de France. There's all these different categories, and the geometry varies a little bit different. But this is slacker than a road bike, but it still handles really quick and snappy. I'm curious to take this on single track. I mean, it's not going to be like, you know, doing gnarly jumps and things like that, but certainly something like Theodore Wirth, especially Theodore Wirth North Loop. I bet you this thing will be a lot of fun to ride there. Theodore Wirth North Loop is definitely more classic single track. So, but my ride over here, it's interesting because when I'm on the state and I have the 700 wheels with the smoother tires, much smaller than these are 700 wheels, but these, because it's got 2.2 tires with tread, it'd be considered a 29er versus like a road bike with 700 wheels. I believe they're, gosh, I don't remember, 38s on there or something like that. Not quite a 29er. So, and it's got a smooth center. That bike, I like going 18, 19, 20 miles per hour is kind of the norm with those tires anyway, and those wheels and tires. It does have some 27.5 by 2.1 Vittoria Barzos. Those tires obviously slow that bike down a lot, but with those more roadworthy tires, that bike wants to fly, and it's pretty comfortable. But this bike is like way more comfortable. It's got a much higher stack height, and it even has a bunch of spacers in here. I'll have to determine whether I want to keep these in here or I want to lower it down some. But it has a much higher stack height, meaning the handlebars are much higher. Like if I go back a little bit, the handlebars are actually above the seat a little bit. And most road bikes and such, you'll see that the handlebars are lower than the seat. So it is, I'm shocked at how comfortable it is to ride. So I remember the older Fargo ads, and I don't know if they still say the same thing, but they used to say Fargo, go far, right? And this bike, I can totally see going really far on it and still being comfortable. Like 100 miles on this bike, I bet you is just like a breeze. It won't be fast, but it'll be comfortable. Probably the most comfortable 100 miles you've ever done. But it is, speed-wise, I felt like I was going fast, and then I kept checking my speed, and I was doing between 15 and 16 miles per hour, 16, maybe 17 on like the most flat stuff, open stuff. And that was kind of the range. So a good 2 to 3 miles per hour less than what I like doing on the state all road. And the state all road is comfortable. It's also a steel frame. Steel is really comfortable to ride, but not as comfortable as this bike. And so the, bigger tires, a little bit of knobby tread, so on and so forth. Doing 16 miles per hour isn't bad, right? Be curious to know if I had skinnier tires and so on and so forth on this bike. But this bike has a pretty significant BB drop, and you can see I can put the pedal on a rock, and that rock isn't off the ground very high. So I'd be a little reluctant to put skinnier road wheels on this, because it's going to bring those pedals really close to the ground. So maybe I'll try a test where I do a smoother tire and then higher pressure or something like that, and see if it likes to go faster. But that's not what this bike is for. It's not for going fast. It's for being comfortable and cruising and going long distances and touring. Definitely a touring machine. I mean, it's got mounts all over the place. It's got mounts here. It's got down tube there. I don't know if it's got some underneath. It's got all the mounts on the forks. So yeah. So if I can get my pedal balance back up there. Definitely don't want this bike falling on the rock. Brand new. Doesn't have a scratch on it yet. So few things I will definitely upgrade on here. I might have to upgrade just because, I don't know, I like to have kind of, maybe not the highest end, but I'd like probably rival at least on here, and maybe keep the shifters, unless the rival shifters have something more special about them. I'll definitely upgrade the chainring to a wolf tooth. Probably keep the wheels the same. The brakes seem pretty good, and I'll have to ride it some more. And if I don't know if I'll do anything more aggressive on it or not. I definitely plan to do the Filthy 50 this upcoming Saturday. That's 50-mile gravel race. On this bike, I'll do it, and I'll probably talk a little bit about that. I don't know if I'll film during the event or not, but we'll see. But this is it, the Salsa Fargo, brand new. I will be talking a bit more about this bike. I'll do some comparisons between this and the state all-road, the state 4130 all-road, and so on and so forth. So there you have it. No longer balancing on the rock, so I got to hold it up. Cool. I really appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.